Now listen here, all of you. Listen here. Whenever you are taking the for loop, the initialization, and the condition, increment and decrement, condition and increment, all the things would be in the same line. Okay. Coming to the while loop, initialization would be in one place. Initialization would be in one place. Initialization would be one place, and condition would be in another place. Condition would be in another place, and increment or decrement would be available in another place. Okay. So for loop అయితే ఏమవుతుందంటే all the things would be in the same line. Am I right? Coming to the while loop and do while loop, the whatever the parts that are available inside of the for loop, like initialization, condition, and increment or decrement, all the things would be differentiated. Like, you know, above the while loop, we need to take the initialization. After that, inside of the while loop, we need to take condition, and main body of the while loop would be having either increment or decrement. Just the syntax would be different, otherwise everything would be same. Now listen, I'm just trying to display welcome message to the user with while loop 5 times. Okay, now listen how to display welcome with while loop 5 times. We're going to see now. Now here I'm taking the initialization. Int I is equal to 0. Now correct. Now I'm taking the while loop, and here my condition is I less than 5. Okay. Now what we need to display? Welcome message. Am I right? Welcome message. Now after that I'm taking I plus plus. What will happen? Tell me. First the value of I is 0. Right? Now along with that, while I less than 5, and see I less than 5 in the sense 0 less than 5, that is true. So it is coming inside of it and it will display welcome. Again the value of I will become plus plus. That means 0 plus 1 is 1. So 1 less than 5 true. 2 it will become 2. 2 less than 5. 3 less than 5. 4 less than 5. And whenever it is become 5, 5 less than 5, the condition is failed. At that time it is just coming outside of it. Okay. Listen, see the output of this. Clear, all of you? Now when I'm doing like this, what will happen? Any one of you? Unmute yourself and answer this question.
Okay.
What will happen?
It will display 0.
Infinite loop.
No, yes, infinite loop.
0.
Why? Because each and every time 0 minus
Okay.
the -1, -2, -3, -4, it will become, right? Never the condition would be satisfied. Am I right? So sorry. I mean, each and every time the condition is true only. -1, -2, -3. So see, if it is become first time, it is becoming as -1. Am I right? So -1 is less than 5, and
Zero.
again the same way. -2 is less than 5. -3 is less than 5. So I mean, you know, each and every time whenever it is performing minus, all the time the condition is true only. It won't come to the situation that the condition would be failed. Okay, it will execute. See here, all of you, what will happen? See, it is executed many. See the vertical arrow you people are able to see, right? It is executing. There is no stop for that. Okay.
Yeah.
See, if I'm removing this, what will happen? Any one of you? What will happen now?
It don't increment the value.
What will happen?
It will
So now what's the infinite loop only,
display
right?
without
Each and every
the
time the loop will execute. All the time the value of I is 0 only. Am I right? Clear?
Yeah.
See now, here also it is executing infinite loop. See the vertical bar, you people can observe this. Why it is executing again and again? Loop itself, it need to execute again and again. If there is no condition, the value of I is always 0 only. How many times the loop is repeating automatically? The value of I is 0. 0 is always, the condition is true. It is executing inside of this while, and again it is executing. There is no one here to increment the value of I with I plus plus, right? So all the time, and loop in a sense, it need to execute repetitively. Here my loop is executing. The value of I always 0. 0 in the sense always the value condition is true. It is executing. There is no stop for it. Correct? So the appropriate condition is required here to stop the loop. Clear? Am I right, all of you? Take the screenshot of this also. Make it fast. Now we'll see what is the use of do while loop, and Mostly in the projects, do while loop we won't use because it is having some disadvantage. We'll see that. I'm removing this code. Just give me a minute. Yeah. Now we'll see the do while loop here. Now observe here. Coming to the do while, first we need to take the initialization, and whatever the set of code we need to execute that we are placing in a do, and set of code that need to execute, we need to place that code in do part. And coming to the while, it is just having the condition. Okay, condition. Now see here all of you very carefully. I'm coming back. I'm trying to take initialization I is equal to 0, and I'm taking do. In the do, I'm just taking, I just want to display welcome. Suppose C is example here. I am taking as 5. Okay. Now I'm taking, otherwise first we'll take a right value. I is 0, and I'm taking while condition, that is, I'm taking the while condition, that is I is less than or equal to 5. Unmute all of you. How many times the welcome value will going to display now? 6 times, am I right? From 0 to 5. 5 also will display because of equal to condition, am I right?
Yes.
Now see, 6 times it will execute. Why it is executing again infinite loop?
We did not give the condition there.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay, we'll give that now. See, 6 times it is executed, am I right? See, now when I'm giving I value as 6, how many times it will execute? First, do is executing, right? Am I right? Do is not checking any condition. So welcome will display
First,
again I value will become as 7, am I right?
Yes.
Ardhamavutundamma?
Yeah.
So the I value is 7. I less than or equal to 7, the condition is fail, am I right?
Yeah.
So whenever the condition is fail, it won't execute again do. So the first itself, the condition is fail. Even though the condition is fail, do will execute once, am I right? So whatever the initialization value you are giving, the condition whatever you have provided, both are not matching. Even though the condition is not checking, the first do is executing and it is executing the set of lines of code what you need to display. I mean, suppose the example that username and password adina ventane without checking your credentials whether with the database your username and password both are matching or not. It is showing your emails first. Later on, it will going to check your username and password things. So this is not the right case, am I right? Suppose see what I'm trying to tell you people is in the do I'm just showing you the mails. Okay, what all the mails are available. Okay, in the while I'm just checking my username and password with the database, cross-checking the username and password with the database. See, in the database, my username and password would be Sai, and in the value here I'm taking like this, the value I'm taking like this, ABC and ABC and this. So ABC will not be matches with the database value that is Sai and Sai, am I right? So do while the stupid problem enti ante first do execute ayi first నీకు mails చూపించేస్తుంది. After showing you the mails, it is going to check with the database. So username is Sai, and you enter the value as ABC and ABC. So it is not correct, right? It is not going to do in that way. First, it need to check the condition. If the condition is true, then only it need to show the appropriate operation what you need to do in the program, am I right? So due to that reason, no one will use do while loop in the real-time projects. But still, you people try to remember this. This is how do while loop. Why I'm telling you to remember is in the interviews, whenever you people are applying for 3 or 4 years of interviews, that time people may ask you what is the difference between while loop and do while loop. Coming to the do while loop will execute once even though the condition would be fail. That is the reason most of the people they won't prefer to use do while loop in the real-time projects. Clear? Take the screenshot of this, make it fast. Completed. Now listen here. I mean, I have one material that is .NET lab work. The lab work material is there. See, in today what you people need to do is, you people need to practice all these things, okay? Finding the number, either even or odd, okay? If the number is even, then I percentile 2 would be 0, am I right? If the number is not even, in the else condition, we need to display it as a odd number, am I right? Clear? Now, the second question is convert the data from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Okay. I mean, the code, whatever it is there here, this is C language code. You people need to see the logic if it is required. Otherwise, try to see the question and try to write the answer for .NET C# as a programming language. Okay. Converting the temperature from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Okay, Celsius to Fahrenheit, if you want to convert 1.8 into Celsius plus 32 will return you the Fahrenheit temperature. That is the logic for this. Okay, the third one is calculate the area and circumference of a circle. Okay, 2 pi r is a circumference and area would be pi r square. Okay, like this. And again, area of the equilateral triangle, and area of right angle triangle, and area of rectangle, area of a square, greatest of 3 numbers. You are entering 3 numbers. Among the 3 numbers, which is the greatest? And along with this greatest, find the lowest value of 3 numbers. That is also you people try to practice. And till 9 questions you people try to complete. And in tomorrow's class, we're going to be focused on arrays concept. Okay, arrays. And in the arrays, we'll be having, sure, Shravanti, I'll share the course material. Along with this, the lab work questions also, I'll share it with all of you people. So the course content you people can put, and along with this, try to practice today the topics what we discussed. Along with this, the first to 9 questions, whatever that is there in the lab work, try to practice that also. Okay. Now, tomorrow's class, we're going to be focused on arrays. In the arrays, we'll be having one-dimensional array, 1D array, and 2D array, and we're going to be focused on jagged array. And along with this, in tomorrow's class, we're going to see what are the disadvantages of arrays, and how to overcome the disadvantages of arrays with the help of the topic that is collections, and what all the collections are available, like stack, queue, and stack, queue, array list, okay, array list and list, and we'll be having dictionary, and we have other collections also. The most important collections we're going to be discussing in our class would be stack, queue, array list, and dictionary collection. Along with this, we're going to be focused one more loop, that is for each loop. Whenever you are working with collections, mostly we need to be refer this for each loop. So before going to see the collection program, we're going to be see the for each loop also. Okay, clear all of you? For each loop. So these all the topics will going to be focused on tomorrow's class. The first is arrays. After the arrays, we're going to see the disadvantages of arrays, how to overcome the disadvantages of arrays with the help of collections, and what all the types of collections are available. And finally, we're going to be focused on for each loop. Okay. Take the screenshot of this also, and we'll continue on tomorrow's class. Okay. Yeah. Bye bye all of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.